There are over 200 varieties of potatoes that we eat. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein, and I'll bet you have some right now in your kitchen. And if you have kids, I'll bet you have some right now under the seats of your car, in the form of French fries. Well, I'm about to give the spuds its due today because it's National Potato Month. So sit back and be a couch potato and watch SoFlo taste. How fun is that? Welcome, Taste Buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. Welcome to the Goya Kitchen at J World in Coconut Creek. It's a tasteful, talented tuber. It's the potato, and we pretty much eat them in every conceivable way, except raw. This being National Potato Month, I thought it would be fun to move the potato over from its usual supporting role to center stage. So let's get cooking. The first dish I want to teach you is one I learned when I was cooking in Peru, and it's called Causa. It is kind of like the Peruvian version of potato salad with seafood. Anyway, let's just start. So here I have some Yukon Gold potatoes that have been peeled, cut, and cooked. And now I'm just going to drain them and put them through a potato ricer. It's interesting, you know, why we use certain potatoes for certain things like mash and other potatoes for things like French fries. And the reason why is the level of starch. So Yukon Gold potatoes don't have an incredible amount of starch, which is why we make them into mashed potatoes. And they become creamier. They just have this gorgeous creaminess to them. So you take these beautiful pureed potatoes, and we're gonna add not only color, but also flavor and heat to them. So this is ají amarillo, and it is from a yellow chili from Peru. And we're basically going to use a little by little until we get where we wanna get with heat and with color. I'm also gonna be adding a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, and let's go ahead and start folding in the ají amarillo. I'm gonna cut a lime and add just a little bit of lime juice in there and keep folding. Now don't overwork your potato because it will get a little gummy. I'm happy with that. So look how pretty that is. I'm gonna go ahead and set that aside. These are shrimp from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Not only do they sell shrimp, but they sell poultry, they sell ducks, they sell game, they sell meat, all kinds of beautiful things. They just redesigned their parking lot. Super easy to pick up. They're amazing at 4191 State Road 7. Go to delawarechicken.com to get more info, or call them at 954-983-6831. Let them know I sent you and tell them I love them. All right, so these are just some cooked off shrimp. They sell cocktail shrimp, which you can also buy, and they're delicious. These are already cooked off. Now I'm gonna put them into a bowl. These look like they might be about 20 per pound. You know, shrimp go in size of how many shrimp there are per pound, and this looks like a 21, 25 size. Okay, so I usually put a little bit of mayonnaise in my causa. That's traditional, and I love Kewpie, so I'm just gonna use the Kewpie I had at home, which is a Japanese mayonnaise that has really good flavor. So I'm gonna take that lime that I used a little bit for my potato and add just a little bit to this, and a little bit of cilantro. And I'm gonna go ahead and slice that up a little bit. Not too fine, I actually wanna really see the cilantro. And place that in this bowl. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and mix that up. All right, shrimp salad is done, potatoes done. The only thing left to do is slice our avocado. And we're gonna use those slices in the center of our causa. I've got something called a timbal, which is this little thing to mold with. I'm gonna get a little chefy and go ahead and place half of the potato for the causa down into my timbal mold. And then I'm gonna press it with a spoon. And then I'm gonna lay some shrimp right down into it. And every time you lay a shrimp inside, go ahead and press just a little bit to make sure it lays really nice and flat. think about 4 of them will fit in here. And then I'm going to place a little more potato on top. Make sure that's really nice and flat again. Then we're going to take the avocado slices and kind of just layer them over the top, like so. Let's see how we did. Push a little bit down to lift. That's it. We have Causa. Look how gorgeous that is with all its pretty layers. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just top with a little bit more of my mayonnaise, little touches of it on top, like so. And then finally, some fresh cilantro, a little bit of olive oil, really good quality, extra virgin, and then a wedge of lime. All right, yay. When you come back, we're gonna go ahead and head to a whole other country and flavor. I'm gonna teach you the perfect French fry, and then I'm gonna surprise you with something extremely Italian, using, of course, nothing but this great tuber potato. Come right back.
Come back to the Goya Kitchen at J.A. World, Michelle, and the food. This is SoFlo Taste.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. More than 1 billion people worldwide have potatoes in their diet. Whew. The total global potato crop exceeds 300 million metric tons. Now, I have no idea how much that is, but clearly I'm not making much of a dent in that number today. So let's get back to making something delicious with them. I've decided on potato risotto. Yes, potato risotto. I haven't made this, wow, since I was a kid. So we have cut potato. Let me just show you, because the size is kind of important. That is the size of the potato that we're going for. That is about 1/8 of an inch. If it's not perfect, that's okay. But you really want it to be really nice and small. All right, so we're gonna add some butter to the pan and let that kind of get a little bit hot. And we're gonna add some very finely minced shallots, as well as some very finely minced garlic. At the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and add the potatoes to the pan. So you need, obviously, a lot of starch in this. We are pretending potato is rice, and we are working the starch out of the potato to make something beautifully creamy. So, hint, hint, starch, russet. Okay, so we're using the russet potato, or Idaho. It's basically hard to tell the difference. So to my right, I'm heating up a little bit of chicken stock. If you want to make this vegetarian, you can absolutely heat up some vegetable stock. At the beginning, you really want to stir this around and work the starch. But a little bit later, we're going to leave it to settle, and we don't want to fuss with it, because remember, these are still potatoes, and they will break down if we push them and move them around too much. Let's go ahead and just season it a little bit now, because it is raw potato and it's going to soak up pretty much everything we add to it. So I salted and peppered now. All right, you don't want any color at all. We're just going to, quote, toast it like you would rice in the butter. All right, I'm going to add the tiniest bit of white wine. I'm talking like a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons at the most of white wine, and we're going to just let that evaporate completely before adding the chicken stock. I can already see the starch working in this. If you kind of push it from side to side, you can really start seeing a lot of the white starchiness coming out of the potato, which is wonderful. It means we're going to get a good creamy risotto. All right, our wine has evaporated. We can start adding the liquid just as if we were making regular risotto. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all little pieces of potatoes are totally covered with chicken stock. So these are the last few times I'll be stirring, just until I see that they're just starting to cook, and then I'm just going to rely on shaking the pan. So that shouldn't take more than 10 to 12 minutes, but before we are ready with it, we're going to go ahead and grab some fresh rosemary and thyme and chop those up really nice and fine. And then, of course, I have some grated Parmigiano Reggiano, really good Parmesan cheese. The best quality, of course. If we're going to bother cutting up potatoes nice and small and cooking this, we've got to have some great cheese to finish it. So when you come back, these potatoes should be pretty much cooked. Remember, I'm not going to touch it with a spoon now. I'm just going to let it go. If it needs a little more liquid, we're just going to keep tasting it with a teaspoon. Once we're really good and tender, we will stop. But don't worry, I won't finish it without you. See you in a minute.
When you think about great barbecue, thank you, Anthony, you probably don't think about heading out to Brickell Avenue. But that's exactly where I am, at the Barbecue and Craft Company, where they're serving up authentic wood smoke barbecue and local craft beers. We are joined by Anthony Nicolosi, owner and pitmaster of the Barbecue and Craft Company. Thanks so much for having us today, Anthony.
Well, thank you very much, Belinda, for coming.
Tell me all about your business.
Well, started out about 13 years ago. Barbecue became my passion. After racing cars, I would go out into the crowd and I would give autographs, and what the fans wanted to do is feed me. And being from New York, I didn't know what barbecue really was, real authentic barbecue. I thought it was grilling hot dogs and hamburgers on the weekend, but it was really the best tasting meat I ever had. So I basically took that and I just became a passion of mine, and then over the last 13 years, like I said, I just honed in on my craft and made it better and better and better.
So say I come in and I'm not quite sure what I want. Do you have something for me?
Well, if you can't decide, we have what's called the craft tasting meal.
Wow, this looks so good.
This is basically everything. So right here we have baby back ribs, we have the kielbasa sausage, pulled pork, pork belly,
Yum.
brisket, Bell and Evans half chicken. We have this is all homemade, all of our recipes. Potato salad, baked beans, 24-hour process, collard greens, black eyed pea stew, coleslaw, and our famous mac and cheese with the cornbread crumble on the top.
Anthony, barbecue and beer, it's like a match made in heaven. And what's so great about Barbecue and Craft is that you support a lot of the local breweries. Can you tell us more about that?
These are all from Florida, and they're ambers and pilsners and IPAs, and this one actually started in Cuba, but all of these are from Florida.
So while you're enjoying your beer and waiting for your meal to come, you can just sit back, relax, and have a tasty appetizer. What are we looking at here?
This is our beautiful deviled egg with a little pork rind on top with a little mustard seed and dill. Then we have our famous fried pickles.
Don't mind if I do.
Please, with a remoulade sauce and a little caper. Cornmeal crust. Good? Like it?
That's really good.
And then our very famous fried ribs, which we worked on for quite some time. That's a baby back rib, smoked, then fried with a little cornbread crumble on the top.
I've never had a fried rib, so here I'm going to dig in.
Please do.
Let's do it. That is good.
Now, if you like that,
I love it.
what started everything is our famous smoked, then fried chicken wing with the Alabama white sauce underneath.
Now, for people who love great barbecue, how do they find you?
Well, we are in downtown Miami, Brickell Avenue, 947 Brickell Avenue. You can also go to our website, which is bbqcraftco.com with a C. And then, of course, Instagram, Facebook is BBQ and Craft Company. So please follow us. We also have valet parking on the south side of the building.
Nice.
And our telephone number is 786-522-2300.
That's great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Stove Flow Taste. We're here at JA World in Coconut Creek. For information about this educational place and what it does for our kids, go to jasouthflorida.org or call 954-979-7100. Now back to the taters. All right, everybody. Our potatoes are cooked. I swear I didn't touch them with a spoon. All I did was shake, 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 and they're beautifully creamy. The last thing I'm going to do is add the last of the butter and the chopped thyme and rosemary, and very delicately stir. Beautiful grated parm, the more the better. And this is just beautiful. This is one of my son's favorites. for obvious reasons. Look at this creamy, gorgeous risotto. Look at that. Cheesy, creamy. Oh, now with all these herbs, I can't think of anything better. A little bit of cheese right over the top, and there you have it. All right, let's move on. Have you ever wanted to just make the perfect French fry? Probably one of my greatest weaknesses. And I really wanted to just show you how to just make a really good French fry at home. So I've got my oil now on. You need it at about 275 to 300 degrees to get started. And I decided to make you a steak cut fry. And you take a bowl of ice water and cut your fries, and these are how we cut them, like beautiful steak fries. And of course they're russet or Idaho because again we need the starchiness to make a beautiful fry. And look at all the starch that you get on the bottom, it's crazy, of your bowl, and that's actually a great thing. So you go right from here onto some paper towels or just old towels, and you make sure they're really, really good and dry before moving on to the next process, like these are. So the oil temperature, let's take a look at what we're at right now. We're about to hit 300, so that's great. We're at 294 and counting. Yeah, 297. Okay, great. We're gonna add in our steak fries, and we don't want any color. This is not the part where you look for a beautiful golden French fry. If you want to look into this pot, you can see that it's not bubbling like crazy. It's not incredibly hot to where you're going to get a lot of color and caramelization on your potato. We're looking for them to cook all the way through in the center before they get caramelized on the outside. And this is the really important part to making a really delicious French fry. So once they soften and they cook all the way through the inside, this is what they're like. They're just beautifully tender. As you see, there's very, very, very little color on the outside. Now, you don't want to go ahead and turn them into French fries yet. What you want to do is put this into a cooler or freezer. You want to get them really good and cold before making them crispy. And when you come back, I'll do just that. Welcome back to Soflo Taste and our show all about the potato. So now that our potatoes are cold and tender and fully cooked, you can't eat them like this, but nobody wants to. We want to turn these into beautiful crispy potatoes. One thing I didn't talk about is the oil. So you want to get to at least 325 degrees to start getting these beautiful fries crisp. So I've already gotten to that point. Let's go ahead and fry. So you don't want to add too many fries at one time because the oil obviously will cool down. These fries are very cold and the oil temperature already has lowered probably, I would guess, at least 60 to 70 degrees as it is. So it's up to you what you want to serve with your French fries. Go grab your ketchup. I've grabbed a little mayonnaise because that's my husband David's favorite. You can grab some Dijon mustard if you'd like. That's actually my favorite. But you definitely want some salt when they come out of the oil. All right, everyone, let's take a look at these beautiful steak fries. And they're just beautifully golden. The one thing I didn't mention to you is always to have a landing pad. So some paper towels or napkins lining a little cookie sheet right here to get ready for when your fries come out of the oil. And these look beautiful. They're golden, they're a little bubbly. There's nothing better than a good French fry. All right, let's shut off the oil. Let's place, I have to use a bit of kosher salt, quite a bit of it on the fries. That's a personal thing. Like I said, grab your favorite type of dipping. Let me try one. So good. So hot, but so good. They're crispy, they're tender. Oh man, they're so good, they're so worth it. And remember, you can cook these part of the way, throw them in the freezer, and eventually put them in a Ziploc bag and leave them in your freezer. And anytime you want fries, throw them in some hot oil and go for it. And the great thing about this oil is when it cools down, we can set it aside in a jar and reuse it. You don't have to just use it once and throw it away. It's clean. It's virtually clean. And there we have it. What a great day for the potato. So make National Potato Month a reoccurring event on your calendar every year. And remember to use these recipes all year round. As I said before, a potato is a tasty tuber with endless talents. Next week, I'll be wrapping up some falafels. I'll give you my recipes for some of my favorite flavorful fritters. Next week on SoFlo Taste. So taste buds, be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated. And I'll see you next week. And as always, please continue to support your local growers and restaurants. Goodbye, good health, and good taste. Spud-tacular.